Hello, if this is your first time, I'm Kyle.
And I'm Michelle, and we're the Wandering Shores.
So about 3 months ago, we started sharing our monthly expenses with everyone, and this is the review of what month, Michelle? August 2024. We're trying to find some creative locations to do these videos at so that we're not just inside the camper. And today we're in the Shoshone National Forest outside of Lander, Wyoming. Our campsite is actually just down the rocks, I guess, if you will, from where we're currently at. So the way we like to do this is we've narrowed our categories, and if you have any questions about what's inside each category, just let us know. But we are going to this month share how much we spent in August and compare it to how much we spent in July. If you were here in July, you know that June and July were budget breakers for us. We had a lot of truck repairs that really cost a lot of money, close to almost $5,000 or $6,000 just in truck repairs. This month, we're happy to say we're a little bit back more on normal pace for how much we're spending each month, but we also have some upcoming expenses that we're going to share with you that were unexpected as well. So we do have a little cheat sheet here, so please forgive us for looking at this. There's no way we can memorize all these numbers. But let's start with August 2024 expenses. Michelle, you take that for now, and I'll just kind of look over your shoulder, and as we go through them, I want to give some information about that particular expense that maybe Michelle is just going to focus more on the numbers.
All right, so for our medical expenses in August, we spent $44.88. In July, we spent $27.
Yeah, so we're pretty even. That's a normal medical expense for us, somewhere between $25 and $50. So there's really nothing out of the ordinary when it came to our medical expenses for the month of August.
For utilities, which includes generator gas and or the dump.
Yeah, and this month, we've had to run the generator quite a bit more, in part to run air conditioning sometimes or to recharge the batteries because we had a lot of days of limited solar when we were here in Wyoming. But yeah, and then we did have to pay for a dump station, which is fairly unusual for us, but it does happen from time to time.
In August, we spent $111.48. And in July, we spent $82.
Yeah, so we spent about, $30 more in the month of August that we did in July, but still well within kind of expectations. Mm-hmm. Lodging and travel. So in August, and here's part of the nuances about how this is going to bleed over into September's budget. We spent $103.50 in lodging, even though we actually haven't stayed in any campgrounds for the month of August. We prepaid because we're actually leaving tomorrow to go down and stay at least 2 nights in a campground, in part because we have more truck repairs. But we'll tell you about that when we get to auto service. But so we spent $103.50 in August. In July, we spent $883 because we were stuck in the campground in Sturgis while we got our suspension replaced on the truck. So we saved, almost $650 or more in the month of August over what we spent in July. Next one.
Okay, for dining/entertainment. In August, we spent $101.75, and in July, we spent $82.
Yeah, so that's right around $85 to $100 a month. We've actually been going out to eat more frequently now that we're camping with our friends Sean and Matthew and Chris and Courtney. We tend to like Pizza Hut. So we've been going to Pizza Hut several times, a couple times a month, not several. And that's, some of where that dining and entertainment expense went in. So business. In business, last month we spent $450.83. In July, we spent $924. July was elevated significantly in part because we had purchased the drone. I got my drone license, which costs money to take the test, etc., along with that equipment. So we average about $500 a month in business expenses. Now, business expenses for us are any advertising we may run. It has to do with utilities, things that are tax deductible for us since we are social media influencers, I guess, if you will. So $450 this month, $924 last month. So we are, we cut that amount in half for the month of August.
Next is home
and home repairs.
And home repairs, yes. In August, we spent $245.75. And in July, $203.
Yeah, so that's pretty consistent. It's $40 more this month. We are making some modifications to our composting toilet to, to better use the black tank for the liquids, and so some of that cost is there. But then, other home expenses, that also includes pet food and things like that. That's all lumped into the home expenses. And if you have questions about all the specifics of what is lumped into each area, in our very first video from June, we went into much greater detail, but we're trying not to have these videos be 30 minutes long.
For groceries, in August we spent $862.02, and in July $705.
That's fairly consistent, somewhere between $700 and $900 a month. We did stock up on a great sale that Safeway had for bone-in ribeye, so about almost $75 of that is a great deal they had running. So we did, but yeah, groceries somewhere between $700 $900. That's fairly normal, but we did spend about $160 more in August than we did in July. Auto and fuel. So here's the fuel costs for the month were actually one of the lowest we've had, in part because we've been boondocking and not going out and having to drive long distances from place to place. We were able to stay in the Bighorn National Forest for almost 6 weeks from spot to spot, following the rules that the National Forest has in store. But we spent $287 in fuel for August, and in July we spent $320. So we saved about $50. For auto service this past month, we had zero. I'm telling you, zero. Now, we haven't paid for the current upcoming auto repair, but that'll be in September because that's when the actual work will get done. But in August, in comparison, we spent $3,772 on auto service. So we dropped it. I'm sorry, in July, we spent $3,772 in auto service, but this month in August we had zero. Now, we did have an additional cost this month that we only have every 6 months, and that's car insurance. So for August we spent $350. In July that item was zero because we were still on the previous 6-month payment. So for the final totals for the month of August 2024, what was it, Michelle?
In August it was $2,555.74. And in July, $7,007.
Yeah, so we spent almost $4,500 less in the month of August that we did in July. So we're super excited about that. We'll see how September turns out. We are starting off with a bang with having to have some more work done on the truck, and we'll share a little bit about that in our weekly videos as well as the monthly expense video. But we appreciate you following along. One thing we want to ask, if you're free this coming Sunday, we are celebrating our 4 years on the road, and we're doing it in a live event on YouTube. So check out our live tab here on YouTube, and you will see you can set up a notification to remind you. So it's at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're going live from a secret destination to celebrate our 4 years on the road. We're going to be answering questions that you guys have. We're going to be talking about some funny experiences that we've had over the last 4 years, and we're going to be sharing some of our favorite places, favorite towns, favorite boondocking sites, all that kind of stuff. So, and last but not least, if you haven't subscribed, we would really appreciate it. We're trying to get to 10,000 by the end of the year. We literally hit 9,000 this morning, so we've got 1,000 to go before we can hit that goal, I guess. Yeah. And the YouTube stats still say that 75 to 80% of the people who watch our videos aren't subscribed. So it's free. Please think about it. Give us a thumbs up if you like this content. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Michelle, any words of wisdom as we head out?
Wander on, Wander Squad.